Hey everybody, welcome to Social Hangout. This is episode 40. Kind of goes good with the number 4, which is hopefully a ring that we'll be winning at the very place I'm at today. As you all know, we're live from AT&T Park, home of a team that we all know that I'm a diehard fan of, and we're privileged today to be here with their head of Director of Social Media. Is that the correct title?
Yeah, sure.
That goes. He's just like,
it's a different title.
He's got a new title, but we're here at AT&T Park, home of the Giants. We're excited to be here. Melanie's remote at our spring training home of this great team. But we're here to talk about everything social, how the Giants do everything around social media, how they handle it. They get the crush every year. As we know here in San Francisco, baseball is played in October. Our friends in LA haven't figured that out yet, even though they spent a lot of money to play in October. They quite haven't figured out how to go all the way, which is awesome for us fans here in the Bay. It's great to be here. Excited to have Brian on with me. So, Brian, welcome to the show. Thanks for hosting us here at this beautiful backdrop.
Eric, it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm glad you came. You know, you can't see it here, but he's got the orange and black shoes on as well, so he's head to toe. He's decked out. It's Orange Friday. We're excited. We got a game tonight, and we're fired up.
I love it.
And look, Melanie's wearing her orange and black Giants hat as well. So
it's awesome.
I feel underdressed actually. I had to do office stuff.
The office attire.
I know.
Well, hopefully they'll change.
I'll change, but yeah, game time.
I figure game time they'll change and be ready to rock. So
yeah,
we're excited to be here. The backdrop, as you guys know, when I usually do the show, is a poster of the San Francisco Giants. Today, it's the whole duty darn park. It's basically ours until they come up here and do batting practice and fun stuff. But come on, you can't beat this view. We're right here. I'll pick up the camera real fast and kind of show you guys. We're right by the Coke bottle. We have.
I want to take a selfie in the mitt.
You want to take a selfie in the mitt? We'll do that after the show.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
the internet cafe the Giants have. If you could see that, you see Nick from Loot right there. He's my camera guy today. Also a social beard, so big shout out to the beard. So you see the internet cafe. We'll walk in there while we're doing this. I don't know how crazy the wind will be, but as you see, we're right here. So let's start off with Brian. Let's really how the sound is. Can I hear you guys? Hey, Melanie, does the sound pretty good? We just want to make sure.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome.
You got a little bit of wind, but you're in the city, but it sounds pretty good.
Awesome. So first question, Brian. Tell us about, social media is big in the tech world. How have you, and you've got a long history with the team and with the Giants, and you're kind of a one-man show for social media here for the Giants. You spoke at South by Southwest. Tell us how you've brought social media to the Giants and how you've made it such a crucial part. Because as a fan, I can tell you it's an awesome experience for us, where other teams, not so much of a fan experience. So how have you taken pride to make sure that, where did you get the start to come up with the idea to take care of, making social media a priority?
My job was relatively easy because, the Giants were the ones who, our executive team, our president, Larry Bear, and CEO, was one who knew, in 2009, said we've got to start using Twitter and using Facebook and understanding how can the Giants be out there. We know we have to do it. We just don't know exactly how. I started officially helping out with the social media in 2010, and at the time, there were 2 channels, Facebook and Twitter, that we were active on. So for me, again, it was easy for me because it was, we've got active fans, we've got a team that's youthful and active, and 2010, as you remember, was the first year. So we started to kind of build a voice, really a content strategy. We kind of created a funnel internally because we had a lot of accounts. We combined them all into one, and we just kept growing organically. And like you said, we're in San Francisco, the heart of the the technology bubble. A lot of our fans are tech savvy, and from there we just kind of put it all together. And once you won that World Series in 2010, it's been a nonstop locomotive for us.
It's a powerhouse. I mean, one thing that's great, if you look around the stadium, folks, I know a lot you can't look, but when you talk about technology, some of the biggest names in tech have their names tagged all over here from our friends at Salesforce. Their championship.
Eric, talk towards the mic.
The champion suite. I'll just hold the mic. How's that? We'll be really joking.
Sounds good.
We'll be like we're on radio, but on social.
That works.
That we have everybody from Virgin America to Workday to. They always change them.
We have Oracle, we have Adobe's,
Salesforce.
We've got Salesforce, we've got Jive. There's a lot of different technology technology, but not to mention the sponsors that we do have are very tech and socially savvy. I mean, Dockers and Levi's, Virgin America, Toyota, all very savvy using social media and using the Giants brand.
Well, for sure. I mean, it's amazing to look around the stadium and see it. So I know one of the questions that everybody out there is probably asking is, in the last few months, Periscope and Meerkat have come on scene as a big, people are always questioning what we're doing, live events from the NHL recently said that we don't want you using Periscope and Meerkat during games because of ticket prices or whatever. I mean, so what is the Giants, standpoint on that? I asked Caesars Entertainment the same question about, with all their big games, as a team that, you guys are on TV a lot. You are the world champs. I mean, what's your guys' aspect on people coming to the ballpark and using that?
Well, first of all, the Giants and Major League Baseball, all of us, we officially use Periscope.
Awesome.
So we have an official account. We've been experimenting with it. In terms of our fans, I mean, we kind of take the cue from MLB Advanced Media or MLB for that matter. We're not opposed to fans using it. We're kind of allowing them to kind of experiment. I think our stance is that, you're not really going to get great camera angles or quality from the stands. You get a different perspective.
Yeah.
There might be other things that might be interesting to live stream within the park. There's a lot of activities that happen pregame. There's special events. I think we're all open to that. But, from a fan perspective, I don't know if a fan's going to get a great experience watching another fan's perspective from the bleachers. Sure. So we don't expect, we could be wrong, but we don't expect a lot of periscoping in terms of long live stream. There might be like 30 seconds here, a minute there. We were talking about the bandwidth here. That's obviously a concern if everyone starts live streaming. But we don't see that's probably not the right use for it. Fans probably, I think, to a point, don't want to be live streaming games. They're here to enjoy the game, not necessarily broadcast it. We try to encourage a lot of social media. I mean, Instagram is huge here. Facebook photos, Twitter photos, Vines, very popular, and even Snapchat now. We've seen a huge increase in Snapchat. So we're trying to follow that.
What about the players using Periscope? What about the players using Periscope or Meerkat?
Yeah,
How does that work?
I think they're going to use it away from the ballpark. They're going to use it in their homes when they're hanging out with friends. Hunter Pence is really big on live streaming his video games. He uses he's on Twitch a lot. So I think it's great for our players to kind of enhance their brand, to connect with their fans. We have some very savvy players as well. So I think it's all pretty new for us. We're trying to figure out what do our fans want to see live versus what do they want to see. We're still seeing a lot better engagement numbers when we record something and post it, and so you can enjoy it at any time versus the live element. And we do a lot of live streaming through our website as well with a higher quality camera and with a higher quality consumption as well.
So this question is kind of for both because we have Twitter followers at home that are listening and watching. And, one of the questions that people have is you guys have players. So I'll use the term player, but for people playing at home, influencers, same thing. How do you get your players interacting? I know that you guys are amazing, though. We get to, as fans, get to see the team as they're warming up and talking. How do you get the players to engage when they're getting ready to go on the field? Just like an influencer, same thing, getting a Benioff or, I don't know, Richard Branson to talk, Is there an influencer? How do you get the players to take time? And they seem to enjoy it. Because I've been an extra in one of your commercials just last season.
I knew you looked familiar.
In the rain.
That's probably why I saw you. Yeah.
In the rain, I was an extra, but it was cool that you guys invite fans to come out here.
Sure.
And we're so dedicated to do it, and the players seem to be really authentic, number one. But how do you get them to interact? I mean, are they just like, is that how cool our team is, or is it part of their contract that they just need to be
It's not, no. And first and foremost, we have no control over what the players, how active they are, who – we have, I'd say about half of our players are active on Twitter and some more on Instagram. We encourage them, we work with them, and we do a lot of social media chats, whether it's a Twitter chat, a Facebook chat, even using Snapchat. We even Periscope with them.
Nice.
So we'll use that. We encourage it. We monitor everything that they say, but we really have we are blessed to have a really good group of guys. The guys that are active are pretty active with fans, and each of them kind of brings a different kind of spin. Jeremy Affeld is very engaged with a charity, something called Generation Alive, and he's been someone that's kind of been a proponent of that. And then we've got a guy like Sergio Roma, who just likes to engage and show some fans. We've got Hunter Pence. We've got Joe Panic and Matt Duffy, a little bit younger, kind of just kind of giving a glimpse into their,
There was some other guy that just got on Instagram the other day. I saw him. Where's number 28?
Yeah. Buster Posey is new to Instagram, but he's been on Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah.
So, again, baseball is unlike the other sports. It's a pretty grueling schedule. It's 162 games. They don't get a lot of free time with their families or off days. So, understanding that it's different than the other sports, there's a lot of downtime. So it's kind of up to the players how much they want to share and how active they want to be.
So that brings a good question. Part of Social Hangout is part of the Social Beards, and we have sponsors. So one of our sponsors happens to be a company called Trap It. They're an employee advocacy company. So they were, one of their questions that they always have that they're asking is, we ask the same thing from other people. So I'm going to ask you, so how do you guys do it? So the players, we understand, we don't control what they say. You kind of monitor what they do. What about people that work for the team? I mean, what channel do you use to make sure what they're saying? Of course, it's important to advocate for the team. It's not hard. We have a great team, but what do you guys take the stance on that? I know that's the other side, but I mean, there's two sides to everything when it comes to social media.
Yeah, no, I think we're very open. We have a very loose policy. We encourage our employees to share, especially. I mean, to us, the best marketing is word of mouth marketing. I mean, we're in the business of selling tickets. We're in the business of selling merchandise, but for the most part, I mean, the Giants do so much outside of the ballpark, outside of the actual game, whether it's in our community, whether it's sponsored events, community-driven events, and it's the staff that's here. I mean, we have 200 plus full-time employees. We have another 100 or so day-of-game employees. That's a huge marketing arm for us. So if we get them to share the Giants story and we're all assets in our own communities, wherever we live, our social circles. So the fact that we are kind of a beacon for that is positive. So we encourage our employees to use common sense when they're posting, and we haven't seen any issues. But yeah, I think being the Giants are, we are SF, we are Giant is our tagline this year, and that kind of shows that the community owns this team, and we're a part of that.
That's awesome. That's true about living here anywhere in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Orange and black is probably one of the most prevalent colors, and I mean, it's not just because we're winning. I think our fans have always been this way. Even I was thinking of that as I was driving up 101 and I passed the stick.
Yeah,
which is crazy because the stick's halfway gone for those of you playing at home. Candlestick Park.
So, I want to ask a question. Do you think it's just because we're located in the Bay Area, or because the San Francisco Giant fans are the best fans, that we have such a strong social media presence? Because obviously Silicon Valley, we're surrounded by all the best companies. But I mean, I'm born and raised in the Bay Area. I'm a huge fan, always have been. So what do you think is the reason?
No, look, it's a combination. I definitely think our fans. Our fans drive that engagement. I mean, I would say over 90% of our fans have a mobile device at the games. We have a youthful fan base. We are very tech savvy. I think, in 2009, when Lincecum came and Kane was coming of age in 2010, Posey, we had a very youthful team, and it kind of brought a lot of younger fans into the mix for us. And I think a combination of that, a combination of social media being very popular here, and then honestly, the Wi-Fi here at the stadium is second to none.
It's so much better than Levi's Stadium to go watch the Niners. I couldn't even get any connection.
Well, I mean, that's a tribute to AT&T, our sponsor, that's a name on the park, and also to our IT department and Bill Schlau, who is our chief information officer, and Dave Woolley, who spent an enormous amount of time. They invest a lot of resources each year to continue to upgrade that facility for us, and we monitor those numbers every year. And to be honest with you, it's people are uploading photos to Facebook and to Instagram and to Twitter, and that's great, and that helps all of us. So we're kind of following our fans as they lead us into that. So yeah, I mean, we're again, it makes my job really easy when our fans are putting us on the map.
That's all. So let me ask you a question, because it came up because I see it come up in a lot of social media, and I follow the team when I'm not at games. Last night there was a lot of talk about our third baseman.
Sure.
I'm not going to name names because I don't want to do that to you, but I know, how do you, it's kind of like the same thing as we're a brand. Obviously, the Giants are a brand. I love the way I said we're a brand as a Giant fan. I'm like, we're a brand, by the way. I'm part of the team now.
You are part of the team.
See, I love this team.
You're
awesome. But, everybody, for a brand, you want to be able to take care of everybody that comes across. How do you guys decide what you're going to respond to? How do you handle the traffic that comes in when our fan base gets kind of vocal about, say, trading back a guy we gave a ring to last night that went to the other team and we got his third baseman instead? So, how do you guys handle the good, the good, bad, and the ugly?
Baseball. And what did you do with all the extra panda hats?
I think we shipped those to Boston.
No, you did.
Baseball.
Okay. So I get the leftover panda hats. I got it.
It's funny. We haven't seen any panda hats this year at the park. So,
Yeah.
but Panda was he was a big part of where we are now, and I think when he does come back, he's going to get a great response from our fans, just like Michael Morse did last night, because he's part of Giant history. So
even that one guy who left and went to that other team that was our closer.
Yeah, well,
we still gave him a sounding around.
What about Fear the Beard? I mean, that was such a big thing when Brian Wilson was with the Giants, and then when he went to the Dodgers, and he was such
the Giants, history. There's a story every year, and there's several stories every year, and it's a great history. And when you look back the last 5 years specifically, but even before that, we've always had great players. Our fans have always connected with them, but there's always new players and new stories that develop. Now, in terms of, baseball, as you know, it's 162 games. It's a marathon season. If I went back and showed you all the fans complaining last year about what's Bochy doing and why is this player here and that, at the end of the day, we look at, okay, there's a method to the madness. It's positive. We want our fans talking. It shows the passion. It shows they care. And that's part of baseball. It's a social sport. There's always going to be debate about who should be playing first base or, who should we be trading for. And that's where social media comes in for us. We monitor everything. I don't respond to any of the baseball-centric remarks because, again, I'm not in the authority to do that, but we love it. And I think
let's discuss trading people right now.
Let's do it. Yeah, why not?
We're making decisions right now.
We'll make it.
Let's do it. Mike Trout, come on. No, that's not gonna happen.
I don't think
I don't think the Angels will agree with us now. They're like, no.
Sure.
But I mean, it's funny you called baseball a social sport.
Yeah.
I love that because baseball, to me, is my mecca, right? Like there's Niner fans here, but the Giants are my first, and I know a lot of Giant fans that feel the same way. Just like Yankee, Red Sox, A's fans are the same way. We bleed for our teams. So as you call it a social sport, it's always been a social sport. Social media just gives us a bigger platform because we have our great Crooked Kipe here in this, we have our great voices, but I think we've always been able to reach out, radio, TV, watching, the Ken Burns films on Netflix about baseball. We've always talked about this sport. So you have an amazing job that you're talking about the greatest sport of all time on now a broader scale where you can reach a worldwide audience because we have people listening from all over the place. We have folks in Australia talking about this. I mean, how do you look at the brands? And I'll bring it up because the Warriors are the largest followed basketball team in the NBA because they're with that, I forget the name, and I'm looking at Nick when I'm going to ask this question.
Rebo?
Yes.
In
China.
Sure.
So
My dad's on the way to Tennessee to see him play right now, and the coach is a former Wildcat.
There you go. I think, again,
mouth the word power, huh? It's an amazing thing to say.
No, I
can see that, by the way. So
we talk about being in the ballpark, and people always talk about it's the experience, and we're obviously there to see the Giants play. But this ballpark is built, right on the bay. We can look at the Bay Bridge right there. It's a little breezy right now, but the sun is out. There's a lot of great food. There's a slide over here. There's kayaks over there. There's Anchor Brewing Bar right there. It's a social experience. You come here with your family, with your friends. You might miss an inning or two because you got to go get a hot dog or take a stroll around the park, and that's part of it. It's that social experience. We're trying to bring new fans into the fold all the time, but the fans that we have, we try to immerse them in that experience. Now, if you're at home, we want you to feel like you're here as well. So we try to share that experience with our fans, whether it's talking about stats, whether it's giving them highlights, or just giving them kind of the flavor in and around the ball.
I think we're going to be moving here in a second.
We're gonna have to relocate this.
We're going to relocate in 2 seconds. So hold on 1 second, everybody, while we relocate for power. The social problem is power.
I want a selfie in the mitt. Show the mitt to everybody that doesn't know.
Okay, we will in a second.
Mitt.
'Cause
We'll
I can't
see if we
really
can
see the mitt from
Is
here.
it working?
There we go. We
Yeah,
have power.
we have
Hey,
power.
we're back.
All right.
Now we have the Bay Bridge over there.
Oh, now look at that.
Look at that. Even a better view.
Wow.
More sun. I feel like we're on like the World Series. All of a sudden, I feel it's a Saturday game.
pretty
We're-
cool,
it's-
yeah.
This is a pretty cool thing to do. I'm fanboy for a minute. So, yeah, I lost my whole train of thought. So let's talk about let's have fun with this. You've been with the team a long time. Give me one of your best memories of this team. One of your fondest moments of this amazing ball club.
Oh God, there's so many. I mean, gosh, let's go back to Game 7 of the 2014 World Series. I mean, that was anytime you're in a Game 7 is pretty phenomenal. But I mean, to be on the road in Kansas City, to be there when you didn't really think you were going to win a third one, you thought maybe this was the Royals' year, but to see it all kind of come together, I mean, there's just no better feeling than that. But I mean, probably the best feeling ever was after winning the first World Series was walking down that parade on Market Street. That day, well, I mean, there was 1 million fans in the streets of San Francisco, and there was no Wi-Fi. I couldn't post anything because there were so many, which was kind of great for me. So I just, took some pictures and enjoyed the day.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that moment. That was all of us, I think, felt that was really a special day.
I think that was a big moment in like social, if you think about it, because we had Instagram. Everybody, I have some good pictures. I was walking by, and Coach Harbaugh was driving.
Yeah, right.
And I got because we had VIP access, so we were able to get close. And I thought it was cool because we couldn't take and do anything with it because the coverage. If you've ever been to San Francisco Market Street, no matter how much tech is on it, Wi-Fi's not the greatest in the world, and neither is any kind of coverage with anybody. I think it's the big buildings. We'll blame it on that.
You don't carry your own Wi-Fi in pocket?
No, I try to do that, but I'm always challenged by watching Carlos Gil walk down the street from LinkedIn and do his Meerkat sessions as he walks around checking out the awesomeness of our city.
Carlos.
Yes, good old Carlos Gil.
Shout out. There you
I
go.
like the shout out to Carlos Gil. We're converting him over. He's a Marlins fan, and we're converting him over to this.
Is he Marlins man? Is he the guy that wears his hat behind?
Oh, that guy from the World Series.
He was there last
Marlins guy. Oh yeah, that guy.
Marlins man.
I mean, the guy sitting next to E40 and was
Yeah,
trying to hard explain
right.
who E40 was. Yeah, I remember that. So how does the team handle like negative PR that comes across? I mean, unfortunately, those of us in the Bay don't view it as bad, but a few years ago, we have the all-time home run king belongs to our team. I mean, how does the team handle that? I mean, I think he's a great San Francisco Giant. I know a lot of Giant fans agree with me. I mean, how do you guys handle that when it comes across when, the negative stuff that comes across?
I mean, I think social media is only an extension of your brand. It exposes who you are, really, it amplifies. So it starts internally, and I think we have one of the best, if not the best, communication and PR team. They're spot on. I think we have a strong relationship with the community here. We're honest, we're transparent with our fans, and from there, I think it's just knowing what to say and how to say it. And I think we've navigated through crisis management PR, and we take our cues from them. So I mean, that was actually probably before we had to deal with social media. And now it's only, everything happens in real time. Everything is amplified. And, we're on it. I mean, it's like our phones mean that we're working 24/7. And I think everyone that works here bleeds orange, literally. And anything that kind of goes on behind the scenes, there's so much more that happens that our fans don't see. And that's great.
It's about addressing it really quickly, right? It's getting on top, getting ahead of it.
I think it's part of it's getting ahead of it, but I think also the other part is staying on top. So you're, sometimes you don't need to respond, but just know the pulse of your fan base. So.
You want to join in? We can have you as a third.
Oh no, I'm good right here.
Okay, that was Nick. That was Nick from Loot jumping in across the way.
Yeah. Nick from Loot.
From Loot. We're just plugging all these companies.
There you go.
It's like shameless plugging at AT&T
Why not?
today. So I know, Melanie, I know you have questions, and I saw some of them on your awesome blog yesterday. So I want to give you some question time. I know, hit them with your good questions.
Okay, so I know that you guys do a lot of stuff at AT&T Park besides, have baseball games. I know I've been to concerts there before. So what else do you do there for people that don't know? Even though I know Metallica just had Metallica Day.
Sure.
My favorite bands, which is awesome. Are you guys still doing shows and stuff like that at the park?
Yeah, there's when the Giants aren't here, there's typically something going on, whether it's a private party or there's a company outing. Publicly, we have 2 concerts coming up. We have AC/DC coming in August, and then Billy Joel is coming in September. So last year we had Jay-Z and Beyonce for 2 shows, both sold out. So it's a tremendous venue to see music, to see live events. But there's usually something going on. Sometimes it's really big. Sometimes it's more of a small, intimate, private gathering. But this has become a premier destination, especially for the entertainment world.
You guys have kind of had everything. I mean, didn't some famous couple on speaking of social media,
that's right.
Didn't somebody get proposed to here?
Kanye proposed to Miss Kardashian right here on. And people thought that they maybe cursed the field, and we went on to win the World Series. So it worked out.
And then most recently, I'm a fan of the show, so Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley, that was another episode 1, season 2. And then to give you a little preview, there's a movie coming out called San Andreas featuring The Rock, and you're going to see an exclusive clip very soon of The Rock inside AT&T Park featured in the movie. So it's become a part of the San Francisco icon. It is an icon, and much like some of the movies you watch, any Dirty Harry movies or Stoutfire, this is becoming part of that as well.
I asked you a question, and it came to mind because I was asking other people on social about the question about their best experience for this team. And mine, besides all the great things that happened in the ballpark, it was an event that took place in the city 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. Or was it last year? Fat Kid.
Oh,
I thought that was one of the greatest things to watch on social because so many of us couldn't make it down here because we were working, and it became, viral down here. People were watching it, streaming, the news helicopters, and what you guys did here was awesome.
That's funny because the Bat Kid that was November of 2013. We obviously planned for it, and we all thought it was a cool event, but no one really planned for it. And that morning, you obviously, if you're following it, you could just kind of see the volume increase, and we were preparing for the grand finale here, and at the last minute we said, God, we should stream this live and just plug our cameras in. This is before Periscope, this is before, and by the time they got here with Lucille, and we had hundreds of thousands of people following and watching us. It was mind blowing, but it was very exciting. And, I think it's the type of thing that we weren't necessarily prepared for. We were ready, but we weren't. It got much bigger than we thought. So that was really a cool event.
Now I'm going to jump to a whole nother subject just because I have to ask. So how do you guys handle all the press? You have a constant crush here. Being a World Series team always helps.
Yeah.
But you guys, it is a destination for people who go on vacation. And you always hear that, hey, I'm coming to San Francisco. How do I go to a game? If you go to any trade show here, Dreamforce always conveniently is during the playoffs, and people are always giving away tickets, and people always want to cut away and come hide out over here.
I love that.
It's a great place to come over to. But how do you guys handle that? What is the capacity here for the press? How do you make sure we get all the fans in here, but also get the press and the volume?
Our media relations team, they're fantastic in terms of handling press inquiries. There's typically a normal crew of local press from both teams, and every now and then the national and international, obviously for bigger games like the World Series or a key milestone, there is a limited capacity.
Awesome.
For the World Series, we actually extended it out. There was a section of the ballpark up there in the view reserve that was an auxiliary press box. So we're in the hundreds, but no, we have a capacity of about 42,000 seats here. That includes standing room only, which a lot of fans love to just come in here and walk around and stand out there by the splash landing and look at the cove. So we're very blessed that we have a sellout streak of over 350 straight games that were sold out, and it's become a hot ticket. And it's interesting that even though we do have those sellouts, it's still very possible to buy tickets for us. And we have to balance that message of, the game is sold out versus there are still tickets available. But yeah, there's always a ticket available for us.
So do you? So what is the role of social media with the Giants? So that's a good, because every brand kind of we have a social media team, and then there's a marketing team. How do you separate the two?
I don't think I think the marketing, social media is an extension of our marketing and our community. And if you're following us on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, you should feel that brand. You should feel that same voice. We maybe take it a little bit further than those channels, and we're engaging more than those channels. I think in the last year or so, we've really evolved to real-time content, turning around GIFs and Vines really quickly, photos real quick from the game. We're trying to turn around any kind of content that we can in real time to our fans. But yeah, our marketing, as I mentioned before, it's really about bringing our community into the ballpark, into our brand, and that's an extension of social media.
That's awesome.
So I have a question, because we were talking about each of the different players having their own accounts and doing Periscope and stuff like that. And I know I went and I saw Dana White talk about this, about UFC, and how Twitter's really great because you're never going to be misquoted. But it can also work in the opposite way, because these guys at the end of the day are still ball players. So what do you do when there's a tweet that goes out that may not be the most favorable, or maybe not the best tweet that should have gone out? How do you work with that, and how do you work with those players and things of that nature?
Yeah, I mean, I know we do this, and I'm sure other teams do it as well. But there is they go through media training during spring training, and
wow.
We'll
That's
bring
awesome.
experts from outside, and it used to be just focused on TV and radio and newspaper, because after every game, players are typically available answering questions. But it extends now, like you said, to social media.
Right.
I don't think our players are as edgy as other sports, especially the UFC. Just we're more traditional, but still, you're right. I think players need to be smart about what they say, especially after an emotional game. If you're a pitcher that gives up a home run, or if you struck out with the bases loaded, and you have to answer some tough questions.
What's your team's go-to strategy when it's happening in real time? Like if there's a content that's something that you guys are not happy that's out there by someone internally.
Honestly, we really haven't seen that. I mean, I think
it happens across professional sports a lot.
Sure,
now, right?
But I mean, I think that's part of it, is that you got to be really careful about what you put out there. And I think we're not as edgy as other sports or other teams. So I typically let other fans, other bloggers, be edgy. It's not our brand. We try to stay on brand, and maybe we're too safe at times. But the way I look at it,
I wrote an edgy blog for you yesterday. I'll take care of you.
there you go. Yeah, that's fine. We like that. You're a voice that we embrace that.
Right.
But you guys did good with that when Hunter Pence had his great. I mean, one of the best. You guys brought that to us. I mean, when he was on, when he gave one of the best pep talks.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a pep talk that fires you up as a fan, as a player.
Yeah.
And then all that goes on, and you guys left that unedited. I mean, it wasn't the fan friendly. It wasn't for all ears to say.
Right.
But
I think at certain times you make call. I think that was the raw emotion, and we're trying to bring you as close to our team, and sometimes behind closed doors, and yeah, maybe that was choice words per se, but yeah, I think it was real, and it was emotion, and it was kind of what everyone was feeling at the time. So it was exciting.
Why do some teams not really want to? I see some teams, and they don't like the Giants are really good with that, but other teams don't really focus on I don't think they bring the fan experience to them. And how important do you find that to be? Since baseball tickets, well, in our market for sure, are not dirt cheap. But I mean, other teams, granted, they are. But I mean, if we're talking about big teams, these are bigger teams than ours with huge budgets. They don't treat the fans the same way. They don't give you the same experience in park and out of park. So when you guys are on the road, it's important to us to have the ability to go not only see what the sports writers on Bleacher Report are writing, but you guys handle it live right off the main handle. I mean, we get play-by-play. I mean, it's an easy way when you're traveling. It's great to get those live feeds. I mean, it's perfect for all the highlights. I mean, why do you think some teams don't focus on the fan experience? Is it because they're inexperienced at social and we have an advantage here in the Bay, or they're still trying to figure it out?
I don't, I think we've come a long way. I think most teams are starting to all kind of deliver that same experience. Some are, everyone has a different angle. Everyone has a different way of communicating. Some are a lot more about the fan experience and less about stats. Others are more PR driven. And I think it's, I don't know if there's a right or wrong way. I think you have to really be in tune with your fan base, with your customer base, and deliver what it is. And sometimes you try things. I think our strategy is always evolving. So, I mean, at the beginning of the year, we might have, been much more into live play-by-play. At the end of the year, we might have been using more emojis and more photos based on what we see are trends within our fans and within the social media world.
So how do you monitor? What tools are you using to monitor those things? I saw inside. We'll walk in there, and we'll show you once we charge up a little bit more, and we have plenty of time. But there's a huge screen in there, folks. It's run by TweetDeck, correct?
Yeah, TweetDeck is something I'll use to kind of monitor just real time. Adobe Social is our publishing platform that provides some analytics for us. MLB provides some reports, weekly and monthly reports for us. We can kind of see what's working. But to be honest, we use a lot of the native analytics. We go into Facebook Insights, we go into Twitter's analytic platform. We're always kind of monitoring, downloading into spreadsheets to look at what performed well, what needs work, and going from there. But I mean, I think just being engaged throughout the game, you kind of know what's.
You muted me for no reason. There,
Sorry,
I'm unmuted.
weird.
That was weird. Cool. I was like, why did we get muted? We're here.
Technical difficulty. I didn't like what you were saying, I guess.
He's a diehard Giant fan.
Yeah.
And he goes, how do the Giants decide who they follow on Twitter? It was his,
that's a great question.
He's like, I want to know how they follow me. He goes, because I tweet you guys a lot.
Yeah.
And I know other people that I know a lot of fans and we all tweet. And I know it's an interesting
Is
question.
that a big deal to get followed by?
Oh, gosh,
yeah.
For someone like me, it's a huge deal. Oh,
yeah, we, I think in the beginning when we were still kind of establishing ourselves in the early, we started to follow a lot of people just to, it was a lot smaller. You could say a lot, you could do a lot. And then we just started to grow and grow and grow. I think now, we look at it as at times we will follow people. We never follow when you ask. If you ask us to follow you, we'll probably never follow you because it's just, I don't know. It's just weird.
How do you decide who to retweet? Because I'm sure you get a lot of really weird tweets.
We retweet
wrong person in left field or something.
If it's a great picture, a great quote, or an interesting insight, we will retweet. And I think that's kind of a badge of honor too. We actually take it a step further. We have our players. Sometimes we print out tweets and we have the players answer the tweet and autograph it, and then we send that to them, that sheet, that photo of the tweet. So we've done that as well. But no, I think it is kind of, I guess it's kind of an honor, but we try to engage as much as we can. We favorite a lot of tweets. We reply to as many as we can, and we retweet what we think is, think about when you're at the ballpark. If we put something on the scoreboard that's entertainment, we look at it the same way on Twitter or on Instagram. It's a cool photo. And we feature a lot of our fan content on the scoreboard and inside the cafe as well.
Oh, for sure. Here's a funny question, and I know I get it because we do it in social. We have sponsors that that we work with and partners. How do you guys decide when you're gonna how do you make sure you keep your sponsors happy with things you say? I've had people go,
how come Coke gets the bottle? Why does Coca-Cola have that bottle?
Because Coke paid for it. Yeah. When we built this ballpark, this was the Coca-Cola fan lot. Part of that was kind of designing. This glove is modeled after like an early 20th century baseball glove, and the bottle. Someone came up with the concept. Let's put a giant Coke bottle with a slide that fans can slide down. So that was part of the early stages, and they were one of the original big sponsors that we had here.
So you serve Coke there, not Pepsi?
There's only Coca-Cola products in our park.
Okay, sounds good. And you have sauerkraut with the Dodgers. Dodgers have the worst hot dogs in Major League Baseball. So, I love a big giant dog with sauerkraut, fresh sauerkraut. But I can only get it there. So I'm hungry, and Eric better bring me one or send me one.
I'm barely mailing her an Alpine hot dog.
All right.
We're mailing hot dogs on Social Hangout today instead of swag. I don't know how that hot dog's going to show up when I send it to you, so we'll pray for rain on that one.
I thought I'd try.
question with brands is how do you, when do you, like, do they have things that they want you to say to make sure that you do that on social, or is it strictly here at the ballpark? Obviously, Salesforce signs, I keep looking up. Salesforce signs right above me, the Adobe sign. You know, how do you guys handle the two of
our
those
sponsorship, you know, they'll pay for certain, you know, obviously if there's a sign on the ballpark or they want to sponsor a bobblehead, if they want to sponsor something on social media, there's specific contests or they might pay for a specific campaign to be used, and that's part of a separate sponsorship agreement.
Awesome.
So, yeah,
That's cool. I like that a lot. That's important to have for understand how it works, because everybody asks about how you make a brand work, and all these brands that are in here. At the same time, I got to be a fan and turn around.
Yeah, we're mowing the grass right now.
Getting it already.
At the same time you're talking about that, are there players you know, basically, you know, if they have different campaigns and stuff like that, is this a boring question? This is a boring question. I mean, a boring question. They have different campaigns. Are they working exclusively with different brands on Twitter or on Facebook to promote those specific brands? Are they allowed to do that?
Players working with brands?
Like, you know, like Buster, he does all of his
Yeah,
stuff. You
I
know?
mean, like Buster Posey is a good example. He has, I mean, Toyota is a brand that's obviously a sponsor of the Giants and Buster, but he works, for example, with Esurance and with Under Armour that are not Giant sponsors.
Right, but does that go over to his social media presence?
That's up to him to decide. Yeah, so they decide what they want to put on their social media based on the sponsorship agreement. So the agents and PR teams will handle that for the players outside of the Giants, because the players own their rights and images.
Right.
Any other questions, Melanie? I want to give you some question time sometime.
Oh, now every time you say you're going to give me question time, you keep asking questions.
Then I'm being quiet, letting you ask a question.
Well, now, okay. So what was my next question? I guess my next question would be, how do you decide what ring you want to wear?
Oh, I love that question.
Well,
See, even Teddy likes that question.
I don't wear. Yeah, it's
You're
funny.
not even wearing it.
Not
I'll
wearing.
wear it for you.
Guy, I'll wear it for maybe like a special occasion now and then, but they're all in a safe spot. I've got 3 rings at home. I mean, that alone.
Where would that
is
safe spot be? Hypothetically?
in a safe that has an alarm and a very vicious
There we go.
bulldog protecting it.
Right now, there's Cubs fans.
Which is the favorite ring?
Got rings.
Which is your favorite one? Because I know they're all a little bit different.
I mean, I'll say the last one is quite big and gaudy and pretty. Lots of bling, so right now that's my favorite one. But I mean, I don't know. The second one to me was pretty clean and fresh. It was white, gold, or platinum or whatever with diamonds, and just kind of something now that looks like you could wear every day, even though it seemed pretty big. But the third one is huge, has gold in it, and white gold, and huge diamonds, and it's pretty cool. It's, I don't know, bigger is probably better when it comes to World Series rings, but I don't know. They're all pretty awesome, and I guess just having them is an honor to just you know, like, as a Giants fan, but then to work and have that is pretty cool.
And they
But
give,
I'm
they give it
greedy.
to all the employees, right? I mean, everybody.
do.
That's awesome.
They're very generous, and we're all, you know, very humble.
Yes.
About that. So I want one more, though. Why not?
I think the fans, us as fans, we
it's
agree
like,
with you.
you feel like, oh, you know, no more. Then you're like, no, let's get greedy. Let's just keep going. But
We got to get greedy like the Yankees. You know,
That's
they've got 27 of them. And,
that's the name of the game.
you got to pass up Derek Jeter, who can wear 5 on one hand.
I know. It's not crazy.
He's got it.
If you have all, you know, you feature different fans on the scoreboard or things like that, what are some of the weirder requests or tweets or Instagram things that you've seen before that have tagged the Giants? And with that said, everybody's always trying to imitate, say, I'm an official Giants site. You know, if you try to tag the Giants, there's like a million different Giants. So how do you deal with that kind of stuff?
Well, if anyone says they're official, that's kind of breaking the rules. But, you know, there's a lot of fan blogs and there's a lot of, you know, fan sites, which we encourage and are fine, as long as they're not, you know, where we, you know, are concerned if you're pretending to be an official player or an official account, that's, you know, basically against the law, and we don't want that. But, you know, if you're a fan and you have a Giant, there's a lot of great fan Twitter accounts and fan blogs, and that's great for us. And we often even, you know, encourage that, or even will provide some of our fans with different access, with different content. In terms of what do we feature, you know, I don't know if there's anything out of the ordinary that we featured. We love when it's personal. We love when, you know, people are sharing for example, Mother's Day is coming up, so there might be a lot of, we might do a campaign this weekend about show us pictures of your mom. The Hunter Pence signs was a really fun campaign last year, and people were getting really creative with the types of signs they were creating. And there was a whole negative spin that was kind of, taking shots at Hunter, but then Giant fans were making it very positive. So it was kind of fun to see the back and forth. So we put a lot of those up. Melanie, I'm sure you came up with your own Hunter Pence.
Oh, I've got a ton of them.
Yeah. So, next time we'll get that up on the scoreboard.
Oh.
Well, I've been on the scoreboard 3 times for happy birthday, happy 30-ish birthday, and happy 30-ish birthday. So I've spent many a times at that ballpark, and was at the mayor's office at Momo's, and Mauna Loa was my second home for a long time. So yeah.
But you guys, this is just a general question. I mean, the way the stadium's laid out with King Street right in front with Pedro's and Momo's, everything that ties in well with the team. I mean, there's a lot of good interaction, and you see people like I see them tag you guys a lot and go back. So there's like sort of partnerships or just kind of friendly, this advocacy for each other, since basically we all live at those places before we walk over here.
I think just in general, being in the San Francisco community, there is, especially in our neighborhood, we're all partners here. It's part of the experience of not just being a Giants fan, but, being a part of the Bay Area. So I think anytime that we can kind of share the love, per se, there are a lot of, we got to be careful about partnerships and what you can say and can't say. But, we're in some ways, fans might ask us, do you recommend somewhere for dinner? I'm from out of town, or is there a hotel, or what else can we do? I'm trying to give them, some insight into there's stuff all around, and we're trying to show people that, the Giants wouldn't be here without not just the fans, but the businesses and the community in general. So we're trying to support as much as we can on and off social.
And so tonight is a big night for you guys. Besides it's being Orange Friday, also tonight, about 70 some odd miles north of us, is Hunter Pence is coming back tonight. Right. I mean, are you guys covering that also on the handle? I mean, it's everywhere on the news here.
We're not necessarily sending our own, team out there, but the River Cats are a partner, and we know that there's some media that'll be out there, so we'll definitely be monitoring and sharing, kind of the progress, and I think that's part of what we do is, give our fans access. But I think it's a big opportunity for the River Cats in Sacramento, and I think everyone's most concerned with, how did he do and when's he coming back? And we'll once we know any of that information, we'll definitely pass it along. But for now, we'll keep an eye on how Hunter does tonight.
That's awesome. It's exciting. I mean, it's fun for us. I mean, I guess we're lucky here in baseball land, as I call it, because we have our AAA team 70 miles from us.
Yeah.
And then we have our single A team, 45-minute drive from us. I mean, it's pretty awesome to be surrounded by it.
It's a baseball mecca.
It is. It's
fantastic.
And we have
such a question really quick. Brian, what did you do before? Were you come from more of a baseball background, or were you always in social from the beginning? Because I know you've been with the Giants for quite some time.
Well, I was actually with the Giants for a number of years. I left the Giants, and then I came back in 2010 to do just social. And social to me was just something I kind of evolved. I was always a marketing guy, and I kind of evolved and learned. I'm still learning. I have a long way to go, but like I said, it's about being connected to your fan base, learning the ways to communicate, and finding the right tools and channels for us. So this is now the 6th year I've been running social media, and I'm just trying to elevate everything that this team and brand is doing. And there's a lot of great people that help along the way. I just happen to be the guy in front. But I started with 2 channels, and now we have 10 active channels that were official accounts.
So I've read somewhere that you were quoted in saying this. Hypothetically,
probably misquoted.
Probably misquoted for sure.
Air quoted.
Hey, that's why Twitter's good, because it doesn't misquote you.
Someone else might have misquoted. Go ahead.
You stated that the customer, the fan, is the most important person when it comes to social.
Oh, sure.
You agree with that statement? I mean, that the most important thing is not just the team, but the fan, because without that, you don't have.
No, I've always said that. I mean, I think that's part of why I'm here right now is that, fans have become such a strong voice for the Giants. And social media in general. So I think the sooner, I mean, I think baseball, all businesses are customer driven, but baseball, you know, and we're always talking about putting our fans first. The Giants have always spent a lot of resources with delivering the highest customer service, and I think that extends to social media. Now, it might not mean that we, you know, are using social media exclusively for customer service, but our fans, you know, there's a lot of ways to follow the Giants. You can follow, you know, CSN Bay Area, you can follow Henry Schulman, you can follow McCovey Chronicles. There's a lot of bloggers out there, so we have to now differentiate and deliver what our fans want. That, like I said, is usually behind-the-scenes coverage. It's timely news. It's deeper, long-form video. There's a lot that we deliver, and that's kind of staying in tune to what our fans want. If we're just talking and not measuring or seeing what our fans want, then we're not doing our jobs. That's awesome.
What social media channel is the most popular with the fans of the Giants? Which one do you see them on more often? Do you see it's more Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, or does it just depend on their age?
Yeah, no, I think it does depend, but I mean, we have the largest and most active base is going to always be Facebook for us. You know, when we post something, you know, we're I think at 2.8 million fans. Our Twitter account is approaching, you know, I think we're at 800,000 fans or 780, something like that. Twitter to me is so important because of the influence it has and because it's real time.
Yeah.
But, you know, Snapchat is something that we just started a year ago, but we're seeing huge growth with that. And that's an important demographic. So they're all important in different ways. But, yeah, I mean, just in terms of sheer volume of numbers, Facebook is the biggest for us.
Did you see a hit in when they did that last Facebook pages review? Does the Giants feel that at all? Because I know as a small business owner and a blogger, I mean, I don't have that many likes. I've got almost 20,000, but I felt it, you know, and they took away a lot of the inactive accounts and things of that nature. Did you, as the San Francisco Giants, see that hit?
Yeah, we saw a small hit, but, you know, I'm happy about that. I've never cared about, you know, the vanity numbers. I'd rather have a smaller, committed, you know, group of fan base that, you know, as opposed to just, you know, flooding your you know, with spam per se, or just having a fake follower account. That's fine by me. So I think, and to me, if we can do a better job of targeting our fans, you know, the numbers will come naturally. So we did see a little bit, but I don't get too hung up on the growth and the vanity metrics per se.
So you're not a big fan of clout?
Not really. I mean,
I had to go there.
You may want some chips.
No,
You know?
I mean, I think in general it's interesting, but you know, I think you know, there are certain fans that have quote unquote clout that aren't very influential on Twitter or Facebook, but we'll still treat them the same. There obviously are ways that you can leverage and find. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously like the top 1% of social media people are driving, you know, the rest of the conversation, and we might target those people a little bit more. But you know, in general, I think, like you said, customer comes first, and the fans come first. So you know, we try to just focus on our brand and strategy versus, you know, any targeting one thing.
Well, it's very true. I mean, I know as we wrap this up, I want to share how I got here. Because mine came through one of members of your social media team, happened to be watching a social hangout, and I always have a Giants poster behind me.
Yeah.
I do it in my office, and I always am wearing a Giants hat. It's kind of my thing. It's not because I want it to be my trademark. It's I'm a diehard Giant fan, right? Wear your colors at all times around here. And they reached out to me, and they're like, it's awesome that you like the team, and we started working, and I was like, hey, it'd be cool to you know, chat with you because it's amazing. And to be a fan and to do this, to have you go, sure. And it wasn't, I mean, you were quick to respond. I mean, it wasn't, anybody who thinks this is an odd request, you know, Brian and his team are, number one, really friendly. If you have something good to ask, and I think it pulls value for both the team and me, for sure.
Yeah.
So it was cool that's my story. Social does work. People use social, ask questions. You'll never be surprised by just when your favorite team pays attention to you, you feel flattered. So.
But that's
how many people man the Twitter account and stuff? Like, how many people man the Twitter and the Facebook and the Instagram accounts to be able to interact with a fan?
You know, basically there's a staff of 2 people that man all of that. Our PR team helps during the games and any official transactions and any live play-by-play scoring. They'll help us out. but two of us will be very active in terms of managing engagement with fans. What are people saying? Who needs to respond to what? But like you said, Eric, sometimes it's following someone, sometimes it's giving them access to the ballpark, and luckily I like my job and I like the Giants, and this is part of the job though too. It's that the Giants brand. It used to be going to a Rotary meeting, right?
Yeah.
Talking about the Giants. Now it's doing podcasts and hangouts about who we are, and hoping that people give a little bit of insight and you connect with someone.
Awesome. So, Melanie, I'll give you your final last words from our home of spring training.
Well, next time I want to come, and the game that I want to come to is when Metallica sings the national anthem. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know I'm joking with you, but I'm kind of my snarkiness.
That's actually one of the coolest days. So we just had that on Saturday.
I know, and I wasn't there. I mean, I can't believe it.
Well, it was the third, hopefully annual. We're hoping that we continue to do this, but it was the third annual. The Giants debuted their brand new fade to black jerseys, which were rare.
I saw it. I want one of those, Eric. I want one of those. Are
Tony, you love this. So I recorded on my iPhone 6 Plus. I recorded the anthem, posted it to Facebook, and within 24 hours had 3 million views of that on Facebook. So I mean, that just shows you the power of not just the Giants, but when you sync up with a brand and you tap into Metallica's worldwide global audience, which is amazing.
Right. Look behind. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a huge Metallica fan. But I want one of those jerseys. But why fade to black instead of like Ride the Lightning or something, since it's orange?
The jerseys we were fading to black, so it was kind of a play on words. The jerseys, the first time we've had a black jersey in like 10 years, so thought it was a nice synergy to kind of put that together.
We have a lot of songs that go with our team. We got Don't Stop Believing.
Don't Stop Believing. Yeah, there's a lot. Music's very popular here. There's a lot of fun culture in the ballpark. So, Melanie, we can't wait to host you here on Metallica Day in 2016.
We'll come back for that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. I really, really appreciate you taking the time out. I wish I was there. Go Giants.
Go Giants. Thank you, Melanie.
Yeah, always.
I want to personally thank you. It's been great, sitting here chatting with you. I know the fans out there. I know Twitter's buzzing. Nick's been over here. His poor little thumbs look like they're wearing. I think there's smoke.
Yeah, he's working pretty hard. He's working harder than I do during a game.
He's like tweeting away. It's
here.
amazing how fast he's tweeting. I mean, this is pretty fun.
Yeah.
I didn't even get my one question in, but I'll squeeze it in.
Go for it.
How do you guys deal with Joe Buck? Sorry, I know he's not going to answer that, but I couldn't resist.
Let me tell you something. That I know Joe Buck is kind of polarizing. There's some people, but if Joe Buck's here in the park, that's a good thing. That means there's a big game going on, whether it's a national game or it's a playoff and good things happen when Joe Buck is here. We have a very good history.
Great history
with Joe Buck. So hey, if Joe Buck is here, God bless us and God bless this team. So
Jay Bear would say, "Hug your haters." Right?
Yeah, for sure we hug our haters. For those of you that don't know, Joe Buck once came here and told us that we were going to lose really bad, and what's his name was the greatest pitcher ever in the game one.
Oh, okay, all right. I didn't hear all that.
He was on TV. He said he's the best ever. He's the greatest pitcher ever of his all times. The poor Giants are not going to know what to do with. Their bats are not going to know what to do with. By the way, that was 3 home runs, and that's they landed.
Oh, Verlander.
Verlander, yes, Mr. Justin Verlander, the greatest pitcher of. He was a Cy Young winner that year. And we see the history of Cy Young winners in the NL. They get shelled, by the way, and they wear blue. But those home runs landed over our shoulder over here, 3 of them. So we thank you, Joe, for that. So I had to ask the Joe Buck question because when you watch KMBR or listen to KMBR and listen to the handle, you guys don't get to get on the love of Joe Buck that we have because he just has so much admiration for our team. Especially when we play the Cardinals, he really loves us.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's again, if we're lucky enough to have Joe Buck here. And that's that means It's October and there's baseball in our park. So
for sure,
bring on Joe Buck every October.
We love it. So I want to thank you again for welcoming me and Nick and Social Hangout here to this beautiful stadium. As a fan,
fun. Yeah.
As a fan, it's been awesome. I hope
you're welcome for this weather. I know,
right? We've been blessed. It rained here yesterday, which is weird.
Unbelievable.
So everybody, thanks a bunch. I know Inigo app, our sponsor, is awesome about this because they're like going, "Oh my God, you're in the park!" And everybody else who listened, thank you guys so much. I see everybody out in Twitter land is going nuts and. I can't wait to go through and read the feed because I've seen
Yeah.
some bantering back and forth
Yeah,
about our
that'll be
team
cool.
and questions for you. So I
You've been
know.
a lightning rod, though. Like, I hope they don't come after me. I've been trying to be, you've been saying some things which I.
No, we like you. We like you. It's all good.
I don't want the fans to come after me for, because not everyone of your fans are Giant fans. I'm guessing,
Well, then
right?
I'll be nice to that one, but you should like the Giants because you just should.
There you go.
Well, it already says that we are the unofficial and official tweet chat of the San Francisco Giants.
That's a cool title. We can go.
We got the official tweet.
Official.
Hey, Eric, why are you wearing orange? It's Friday.
Because I have a whole bunch of orange on. You guys
Oh, well, we can't see it. Okay,
had a
fine.
jacket on. It was supposed
All
to
right,
be.
I'll let it slide.
These guys, the shoelaces especially.
No, I know.
They're like electric orange.
See those? Whoa, we don't want to lose that. Anyways, guys, we're going to break the computer. Anyways, everybody, thanks a bunch for joining us today. It's been great. We'll check you guys on Monday. We have Dan Gingiss from Discover coming on. So 11 o'clock will be on Monday, and great shows coming up, great things. If you have a chance, go check out socialbeards.co. We got great things on there. This show will be up in the next 30 minutes. Our team will have this up for you and ready to go, so you can go check it up and get a recording of that. And then make sure tonight,
7:15.
7:15, first pitch.
Timmy,
Marlins.
happy Lincecum Day.
Yeah.
Oh, Timmy's pitching tonight.
Timmy's pitching tonight, so we're excited. Hunter Pence getting a start in Sacramento tonight, so the team's turning to go, hey, we're going to do good, and we're going to beat
I get a lot
the
of work to do. I'm like, man, there's all this stuff. I'm like, oh, we're busy. We got a lot going on.
We're going to go volunteer to work for the rest of the day for the Giants. Anyways, guys, thanks a bunch. It's been great. Go Giants, and have a great weekend. Thank you again, Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Let's see. Cool.